Hey, it's Chris Lewitt here, top American junior coach and coach to many #1 juniors in the United States. Let's talk about a few ways to upgrade your forehand. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite secrets. Stay tuned. So one of my favorite secrets for building a world-class forehand is keeping your head still. And this was made famous by Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal and many other players, but probably Roger Federer was the most famous. And as you hit the ball, you don't want to rotate your head with the swing. You want to keep your eyes locked in and keep your head still. And my old coach, Gilad Bloom, he always used to, we always used to work on that. He had all sorts of drills to work on keeping the head still. And I just thought it was a stylistic thing. It turns out there's a lot of research. There's a lot of scientific research on why you should keep the head still, including The Quiet Eye by Joan Vickers, and lots of research on how keeping the head still can help you concentrate and can help give you more accuracy in your shots. So it's a really cool skill. It's very modern, and I highly recommend you guys work on this. What you do is, one of the best ways to do it is just to toss to yourself or use a ball machine. You toss it up, and as you hit, you try not to look at where the shot's going. So this can be also good for taming your ego. As you hit the shot, you just focus your eyes on where the impact was. And I used to work on this with my old coach Gilad all the time, and I'm still grateful because under pressure when I'm scrambling, I have a very steady head, and that helps keep my balance better, and it helps give me a much more accurate, cleaner shot. So I keep my head steady, boom. If I'm running to the side, I keep my head still right there. It's very helpful. I work with a lot of players, especially juniors who come to me, adults too, and their head is moving around, like a bobblehead doll. And once you tame that head and get the head steady, you're bound to see better consistency. Okay, one of the second big secrets to develop a world-class forehand, modern forehand, is getting lag. We all talk about it. I make a lot of videos about lag. I have a really good method for developing lag. But one of the ways you can do it is you can choke up on the racket and just start to do some shadow swings. The lag is all about getting this racket head to trail behind the wrist, and then it accelerates through and it creates a lot of extra energy into the ball. So a great way to do that is just with shadowing. Loosen up your wrist. You want to be flexible. Do some wrist stretches before you get going, and then when you go into the swing, as you swing, let the wrist just trail behind. Let the wrist extend back and let the racket lag as you pull through. Use the legs and the hips, and use the core to help you generate that lag effect, and keep your wrist loose and just sort of go through the motion and get the feeling of laying the wrist back like that. But do it very gently. Don't force it. Make it natural, but definitely get the feeling of putting the musculature of the forearm and wrist in that position. So you're going to go around, and you're going to synchronize it with your hips and trunk rotating. And why I like choking up is it's just less strain on the wrist. You don't have the full length and weight of the racket here. So you're choking up, you're making the racket a little lighter, a little more maneuverable, and then you can just sort of play with this, kind of like this is a little ping pong paddle or a little mini tennis racket here. You could even use a ping pong paddle and it'd probably work pretty well. So you're just getting this feeling here. This is how you function. And then, you can try with the ball. You can try to get some lag with the ball. You can come down on the racket and do like normal shots. And just try to get the feeling of the hips and the trunk pulling the racket through. And as a consequence, the racket's going to trail behind. You can start, if you're going to work on lag, do it at very slow speeds. Don't try to force it at a high speed. You don't want to get injured. You want to take it very, very, very easy, very gentle, and make sure your wrist is ready to stretch back. That is the lag. It is wrist extension. So be careful and just go. Make sure you have a lot of play here, and start to get that effect. It may help to use a semi-open stance. That helps my students. Get semi-open stance. And the shadowing is also a good idea. Shadow in between, toss to yourself. right? That's a great one, guys. Good luck. A third modern pro upgrade to your forehand that I teach to all my students and I recommend to you is get an airborne, using your legs to jump. That may sound unorthodox if you're not used to jumping or if you've been taught to stay grounded through your shots, but jumping can really help unlock your hips. I recommend working on it with semi-open stance. And don't make your jump wild and crazy. Learn to jump in a very controlled, explosive way, but not too high. Just nice, simple jump, and then abduct your hips, abduct your hips. And this is something I work on with all my students. And this is what you see with a lot of pros. They get wide, they load, and then they go airborne for their shots, and they land with even wider abducted hips, abducted hips. So that's something you can also work on very easy with a ball machine. If you're rallying with a friend or a coach or a partner, you can also toss to yourself like I'm doing here. Go into your stance and try to literally leave the ground through the swing. Go into your stance and try to literally leave the ground with your swing. And you want to get both feet leaving the ground, going airborne and landing. At the impact. So at the impact, both feet should be off the ground. You load up, bring the racket through, and you hop. And remember, it's not a hop like this. Don't land on one leg. Don't pull, this gets back to the first tip. Keep your head still. Can you jump up in the air and keep your head really steady? And that'll help your balance. Can you jump up, head steady, and get lag? Get the whole package. All three. Get the head still. Don't look. That one was a little better. And if you can start to get that whippy lag, and if you can start to get the legs driving up in the shot, getting airborne, and if you can keep your head still like Roger Federer, you're well on your way to a modern, awesome pro forehand. I hope you got some value from these modern pro forehand tips. If you like this video, please check out another ATP forehand video, modern forehand video, right here. I'll see you guys next time.